Today we're asking the question, are you vulnerable to being a victim of abuse? What's going on, everybody? drtankpharmd here, board-certified practicing medicine specialist and recovering overthinker, helping you take back your emotional freedom. The Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial has been a circus for the past few weeks.
Rejection, hearsay. Okay, he says sustained an injury to his finger.
Now, I don't know the details of it, and I doubt anybody will really know what goes on within the private walls of a couple. But what I do know is that there's been a strong support for Johnny Depp and men who are victims of domestic abuse. But what people aren't talking about is how Johnny Depp actually contributes to this. What we need to clearly establish first is that abusers are manipulative, toxic, and dangerous. Causing another person physical or emotional pain is unacceptable. These abusers pick up on vulnerabilities of others and take advantage of it. They see specific cues in others and they respond to them. It's important to understand this dynamic because Dr. Susan Forward, author of Emotional Blackmail, says that it's a duet, not a solo performance. It takes two to tango. So if you don't understand your part in the human interaction, you can't learn from it and prevent it from happening. If you're stuck in a situation, knowing yourself can be the beginning of your emotional freedom. Some people are able to escape from this because they have the resources to do so. But what about the people who don't? If they don't take care of their emotional weaknesses, the cost to them can be far greater than the finances involved. So when an abuser looks for somebody who's able to put up with them, they look for signals that may unintentionally be put out by the victim. The abusers take advantage of the victims putting out the signals. And in moderation, some of these signs are really good. But when you stack them on top of each other repeatedly, they could be a huge red flag when you're under the pressure of an abuser. Some of the possible signs of being a victim are constantly berating yourself for giving in to their demands, often feeling frustrated and resentful, feeling guilty and believing you're a bad person if you don't give in, fear that the relationship will fall apart if you don't give in, becoming the only one they turn to in a crisis, even though there are others they can find help from, and believing the obligation you have to them is greater than the one to yourself. Preventing abuse can be difficult because you can't predict how someone's going to act in private. What we can do, though, is we can prevent ourselves from becoming a victim. The very first step is to understand yourself better. In the book In Sheep's Clothing by Dr. George Simon, he says that the more you know about yourself, the more you work to overcome your own vulnerabilities, and the more leverage you gain in dealing with your abuser. He points out there are specific characteristics prone to abuse as well. You have the naive person who believes people aren't all bad. This is naive because there are bad people in the world, but you can't let it cloud your mind. The second one is the over-conscientious. These people are harder on themselves than they are on others. Because of this, they take the blame for all the fault in the relationship. The third one is the low confidence person. And it's easy to see how low confident people are easily victims of abuse because they're self-doubting themselves constantly. The fourth one is the over-intellectualized. These are people who are trying too hard to understand where there isn't reason. Sometimes people don't have reason for what they do. And trying to understand it and rationalize it might make it worse because you're giving them an excuse for why they behave a certain way. And finally, you have the emotionally dependent. These people are afraid of being independent and autonomous. They don't want to break up in the relationship because they don't want to be alone. Emotions can play a huge part of being a victim. That's why it's so important to handle your emotions. If you can't handle the emotions involved, it's difficult to make a sensible decision on what to do. You'll be stuck planning for things and waiting for the right moment to do something when the perfect moment never comes. And that's why I believe everyone should have emotional freedom. You should have the ability to express yourself the way you want to, the way you need to, without your anger and emotion getting in the way, or without society telling you how to feel. And the tools of the Emotional RX help you feel better and more peaceful instantly, without having to turn to pills or thinking about it too much. If you want more details, check out the link below. So how do you strengthen yourself so you don't become a victim of emotional abuse? Dr. Simon has a few suggestions on very specific actions and things you can do. The first thing you could do is you could set boundaries. Say no and set limits. Let them know their habits and behaviors are unacceptable to you. And if they don't cooperate, you have to either disengage or have a counteraction. The second thing you could do is you could focus on the here and now. You can't fantasize about the future or reminisce about the past. You have to focus on what you're experiencing right now, and is it positive for you? The third thing you could do is not make excuses. Abusers have no excuse for their behavior. It's wrong and harmful. And for you to come up with an excuse for them just encourages it. The fourth thing you could do is judge action. You can't mind read or second guess what someone's doing. You also can't listen to their intentions or believe them, because actions speak louder than words. These are just a few suggestions to get you started. It can help empower you if you feel victimized or you have a pattern of being victimized. And it's important to take care of yourself, because there's not always going to be someone coming to save you. If you know somebody who could use the help from this video, please send it their way. Nobody deserves to be a victim. Until next time, guys, be healthy.